Okay, this is my Hellraiser and Prophecy collection because they're both here. So, start with Hellraiser. Clive Barker's Hellraiser. This is Pinhead. Hellbound. Hellraiser II. Then we have Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. Hellraiser, Bloodline. Hellraiser, Inferno. Hellraiser, Hellseeker. Hellraiser, Deader. Hellraiser, Hellworld, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 7th, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is the 8th. So Hellraiser, Hellworld, which is the 8th movie. Hellraiser Revelations, which makes it 9 movies in the Hellraiser franchise so far. Now I watched these a few years ago too. For these, my favorite was Hellraiser 5. Hellraiser Inferno was my favorite because the first two, and even the third one were kind of like, took it what was happening, like when they opened the box, it was the Hellraiser came from everything. But the fifth one did it in a way where, the guy didn't know. Once he opened the box, his reality was changed. He didn't know this stuff was going on, but he didn't know. So it wasn't as literal as that. It was more psychological, which is why I liked it more. And then the next 3 followed that same type of psychological stuff that was happening, instead of like the first 3 were more literal, I guess, or the first 4. But then the last 4, except for the 9th one, did like more psychological. So Hellraiser Inferno was my favorite. Hellraiser 3 was actually one of my favorites too. He was like the statue or whatever, and they brought him back. And then Hellworld was like the party one with Lance Henriksen and Henry Cavill. Kind of like that one. That one's kind of cool. So I think those were probably my favorites. The worst one was Hellraiser 4, which is Bloodline, because that one did a prequel to where the box came from, but then it did a sequel to they were on like a space station or something. That was the worst one. So that's my Hellraiser collection. Now we do my Prophecy collection, which is Christopher Walken. And the first Prophecy is so good. One of my favorite Christopher Walken performances, him with long black hair. And then Prophecy 2, did it have so the Prophecy 2, which is okay, but not as good as first. Prophecy 3, the Ascent. And Christopher Walken's in the first 3, but the third one he becomes good, so the third one's not as good as the first 2. And then there's a Prophecy 4, which is Prophecy Uprising, and Prophecy 5, Prophecy Forsaken, which do not have Christopher Walken, and they're super low budget, so they were okay, but they weren't that good. But the first Prophecy is, I love that movie. So 9 movies in the Hellraiser franchise so far, and as far as I know, there's only 5 Prophecy movies. I don't think there's any more after that, but I'm not sure. But the ones after the Christopher Walken weren't really that good. So that is my Hellraiser and Prophecy collections.